25, 26, 27, 32. I'm getting low on money. Inflation has been such a pain in the ass this year. I need to figure out a way to quickly make some money. Well, there is the time where I did rug pull a sandbox project, so maybe I should try that again. Well, I should go ahead and announce that I'll bring back Brick Planet. I can't imagine the people that would be— No, Heimer, get it together! It's either you try and rely on your supporters or you face homelessness. I made history for them. These people need me. Alright, let's get a couple deep breaths. In and out. In and out. Alright, let's bring back this sucker. Brick Planet is the platform that has started this entire concept of alternative Roblox. If not, they were the platform that popularized the concept. Believe it or not, I've been around Brick Planet in its early days, and I'm going to show you proof that I was around during that time period. Initially, I came to Block City, which is what Brick Planet was named at the time, in anticipation of moving away from Roblox. I was getting fed up with Roblox and the things that they were doing to their platform. For the first few days, I didn't have much of a problem. I seemed to be getting along with a lot of the people just fine, until Block City announced a contest. The premise of the contest was to make a video to try and advertise Block City, convince people why people should sign up for it, which was the platform's way of free promo material. I thought, alright, this is going to help me make a name for myself in this community. I'm going to make the best promotional video that will wipe out the competition. And so, I participated in the contest. I put some time into making a video on why people should join Block City, and I submitted it for the community to see. I still have this video on YouTube. Looking back on this video years later, it's not a good video. It is pretty cringeworthy and laughably bad. This video isn't any sort of prize winner. But after years of locking away this video, I am bringing back this video not only for archival purposes, but as a way to accept my past and realize that I have had my embarrassing moments. I know people will archive this video and start making memes out of it, but I've been made a meme so many times at this point that I just don't care anymore. Now, why did I lock away this video for so long? Well, this video, along with this whole incident, took place in the year 2016. And in 2016, if you wanted people to mob you and harass you, posting something cringeworthy was the most effective way to accomplish that. My submission was your typical cringeworthy video, and that attracted some of the more toxic people in the community. The most notable person who stood out and harassed me was a person who went under the username Oblivious. Whenever I've mentioned this person in the past, I made sure to redact their username because I didn't want to give them praise or any sort of attention for the things they did. But these events are so old that I don't see why I should continue hiding this person's username. Now, Oblivious, along with a few of his close mates, decided to harass me for my video submission. This was all done on a platform called TeamSpeak, which, for all of you young people, is how people voice chatted before Discord became mainstream. Now, TeamSpeak at the time didn't have public text channels. You either had public voice channels and DMs with other users. Any text channel on TeamSpeak was directly tied to a voice channel. This meant that getting solid evidence was going to be a challenge. When I was getting harassed, I was quite upset. Yet, the moderators and admins didn't seem to care at all. Now, at the time of this incident, I was 16, and 16-year-old me thought, alright, I'm gonna try and get these guys in front of a moderator and record it all to expose them. Because back then, I thought that exposing anybody would bring them to justice. And I have had to learn the hard way that this doesn't work for everyone. And like the contest video, I still have the original recordings of me confronting Oblivious in front of staff members. Watching these recordings, I was pretty cocky and I handled this quite immaturely. There were moments where I was trying to taunt Oblivious and get him to respond because for whatever reason, the staff members were doing absolutely nothing, even though this guy was being disruptive clear as day. I shouldn't have taunted him. I should have kept quiet and let Oblivious and his mates make complete idiots of themselves. And coming from a mod's perspective, I would have moderated myself for what I did. Though I will say that waiting this long to take action is quite ridiculous, and the punishment they gave me was a little harsh. Now, for years, I thought that I got permanently banned from the TeamSpeak, but when I rewatched this recording, it turns out that I was only temporarily banned from the TeamSpeak. If I were the one making the decision, I would have muted myself so that I couldn't speak for a little bit. I think a temp ban is a little excessive. Well, it doesn't matter. This happened 6 years ago. I can't change the past. Now, I will put the full recordings on my second channel. Again, I am willing to accept my past and that I was quite an immature person. Now, there are some things that I will still redact in these recordings. I'm going to be redacting their YouTube channels. While I don't believe revealing a username is going to do much, linking their channel is just a way of platforming them, and something I've learned over the years is to not platform these types of people. I'm also going to cut out some of the commentary because I try to go with this narrative of raising awareness for cyberbullying. Even in 2022, that is just pure cringe, and it sounds like something a soccer mom would say. Eventually, I did join back and return to the TeamSpeak, but Oblivious and his mates were still not banned, making it fair game for them to keep harassing me. I honestly couldn't take it anymore, so I just left the platform and returned to Roblox for a while. This experience gave me such a negative impression that for the next 4 years, I did not want to touch Brick Planet or any alternatives in general. On my second channel, I made a video talking about my horrible Block City experience. And keep in mind, this video was made months prior to my first Brick Hill video and dipping my toes back into the sandbox community. And even coming back to the sandbox community, I was still quite hesitant on whether I should get involved with Brick Planet. Those negative experiences still had an effect on me, and I didn't want to join a community where I was going to be harassed and treated like dog water. After joining the Discord on a burner account, I realized how much the community has changed and cleaned up its act over the years. However, at this point, people hate Brick Planet because of Isaac Heimer's tendency to shut down the platform and bring it back to allegedly make quick cash. I have to say allegedly for legal purposes because Heimer does have a history of threatening litigation against people. Now, back in the Block City days, I was originally going to buy a membership to support the platform. Keep in mind, this was before any shutdowns, and Heimer was quite reputable, so it was very convincing to try and support the development. But because I was 16 and I couldn't make any of my own purchases, I tried asking my parents if they were willing to pay for it. They said no, and their main reason was because there was no playable client. Considering all of the shutdowns that happened following that incident, my parents helped me dodge a bullet. And if it were for that, I wouldn't be able to say that I have never spent a single penny towards funding Brick Planet in any way. And that is a statement that I take with pride and passion. Brick Planet had another shutdown earlier this year because, according to Heimer, they couldn't keep up with the pay of their developer, and their developer felt burnt out. In my Brick Planet shutdown video, I told Heimer to never launch Brick Planet again, because if it wasn't clear before, this person cannot sustain a platform for the life of them. While it's not surprising this happened again, what Isaac said in this shutdown was that he was not bothering to launch Brick Planet again. But a couple of months ago, Isaac Heimer decided to relaunch Brick Planet again. I know people have been wanting me to speak on Brick Planet relaunching, and I'm going to say this. I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I'm disappointed that Isaac Heimer has decided to go back on his word and relaunch Brick Planet. Heimer can't keep a promise, and this is a person not worthy of your money or time. And the only reason why I continue to make videos on Brick Planet is because it was the original alternative sandbox, and there are still plenty of people who continue to take this platform seriously. Now, looking past the reasons for him wanting more money, I do think there is another reason why Brick Planet relaunched, and that is because of a platform called Buildaverse. So in my Aftermath video, I talked about how Buildaverse was conceived by former Brick Planet staff to try and deliver Heimer's failed promises. Now, when I made that video, they already had some shaky foundations, but in the 6 to 7 months that has passed since then, this platform has been in several controversies and continues running into one problem after another. Here's the thing, I could spend the next 20 to 30 minutes detailing every single controversy and issue that I have with this platform, including their shady and unprofessional staff, the horrible hiring practices, the underwhelming Easter event, the unnecessary giveaways to try and keep engagement, their inability to take meaningful criticism, and even as recent as the entire web dev team quitting. But I'm not gonna do any of that. If there's anything that I've learned about this platform is that while they aren't looking for money, they are certainly looking for any attention they are willing to get. And I don't want to be someone who has to keep giving them that attention. I know Buildaverse is gonna respond in a couple of ways. First, they're gonna make some bullshit response hardly addressing anything I've said. They're going to purposefully misconstrue my argument and construct red herrings. And third, they're gonna make memes about me to try and cope with the fact that their platform is going to crash and burn and that I live in their heads rent-free. Now, you're probably thinking, Game Webcam, how do you know that they're going to respond this way? Because when I gave them my criticism and clarified my thoughts, this is exactly how they responded. I kind of find it funny that they were willing to read 500 words from their stupid essay contest, but they couldn't bother to read almost 500 words of honest criticism towards their platform. All you ended up doing was proving every single point I made correct, and you made complete asses of yourselves. Also, bonus points if they try to make overly positive comments, because I know they will cope so hard that they'll try to hide their incompetence and anger. And I want to make this clear for everybody, I do not support Buildaverse. Now, because I don't want to keep talking about Buildaverse, I'm gonna have my friend Josie do the rest of the criticism for me. I know they've been aching to speak criticism on this platform, and since they've been helping out with editing, I thought it would be fair to give them a chance. So I had Josie write down all of their thoughts on Buildaverse, and here's what they have to say.
Hi, and welcome to the Buildaverse rant. I'm editor Josie, and I've been having to edit and live through all of this Buildaverse bullshit, and I finally got a Game Webcam to let me have my time to rant. So I'm not going to waste your time like Buildaverse making you wait on a website for months. Actually, as I was writing this, I made a blog post showing their website. Let's get straight to it. Sorry, wrong one. Wow. Looks like a generic website that someone probably could have made in maybe 2 to 3 days if you actually paid them. This private messaging page looks horrible. I swear, it looks more like a report page than a private messaging page. Of course, you gotta finish trading currency first so that people can start giving you money for cosmetics in a game with no client and a Discord community of about 20 people, 3 bots, and whoever you're barely paying to make these website. And you gotta get those money bills from advertising too. In reality, I'm glad that they finally, after months, have gotten the website ironed out. But the thing is, they're still only leaking screenshots and keeping the whole thing in a closed alpha state, which for a game that's literally all dependent on the community to actually provide the content, I think it's a bold move to still not be releasing it. Let's remember that this is the same sandbox that's been having essay competitions in their Discord. That in itself should be a joke, but that's actually what they did. Instead of working on the actual game, they have people in the Discord reading essays for a competition instead of having them actually help with something. They have released official soundtracks, they gave out mouse pads, all in a way to keep people remembering that they aren't Brick Planet. Really, they aren't, despite being just as finished as Brick Planet on their 12th reboot. Not to mention that the name Buildaverse is a desperate cling to the recent Metaverse Web 3.0 naming bull that's been full of crypto scammers and more. I wouldn't be surprised if the two just merged together at this point and officially formed the true Roblox wannabe rug pull. Honestly, any company that willingly decides to cling to the word Metaverse, especially after official lizard man Mark Zucchiniburger decided to try and cover up their controversy with the same word, which didn't work and has been just about as successful as Buildaverse in maintaining people actually excited for the game to actually just exist, despite the complexities of making a client and a workshop to make the games on their service. If it took them months for basic HTML, how do you think Unity's gonna treat them? Looking at all the competition, Buildaverse is literally nothing. There is no reason you should be a fan of Buildaverse and nothing else. There are sandboxes out there that do a way better job in literally every aspect, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I've been especially avoiding any direct controversy to make sure this is an unbiased criticism. If you haven't heard anything in this rant that makes you a little bit uncomfortable or skeptical about Buildaverse, let's take a look back at when Buildaverse first started. 7 months ago, on February 6th, when Brick Planet does what it always does and shuts down unexpectedly. In the Discord, it was said, anyone who thinks that the previous antics will be carried forward can rest assured. We will prove to you that this is not the case. I'm adamant about being transparent and intend to keep you all in the loop. And they have kept us in the loop. But the loop isn't what's going on with Buildaverse. The loop is with people on the Discord stalling with cheap events. It took them a month with no announcements other than Discord mod applications until there was a contest, and then there's something monthly, but that doesn't seem like keeping us in the loop. It just seems like you copied the antics and changed it up a little in hopes not to get caught. Even if it may not be that way intentionally, I don't care. I want to finish my time with a message directly to Buildaverse. Please, do everyone a favor and just stop with this Discord bullshit and give us a website. I would strongly recommend taking a second or maybe third look at how things are running internally and do your best to actually work on Buildaverse, not just stale hype in a bottle from 7 months ago. Buildaverse has no foundation, no flame, no spark. Buildaverse is basically the equivalent of cavemen trying to invent fire.
Thanks, Josie, for taking your time to rant about Buildaverse, so I don't have to spend another minute focusing on this disappointment of a platform. But why did I go through the effort talking about Buildaverse? Well, before Brick Planet's website relaunch, there was a message that said there have been copies that have emerged pretending to be the new Brick Planet, and that you shouldn't send any screenshots and give them your personal information. And before Buildaverse came up with its name, it was considered a Brick Planet community server, and this was considered to be the continuation of Brick Planet. I think this is Isaac way of calling them out without mentioning their name. They're the only notable platform who has any connections to Brick Planet whatsoever. So it wouldn't be surprising if Heimer decided to relaunch Brick Planet to try and get people to move away from Buildaverse. Heimer realized that his own incompetence has led to his community becoming fractured. Buildaverse has essentially put Brick Planet in a deadlock. If Brick Planet ever shuts down again, people will immediately flock to Buildaverse because they see it as the alternative to Brick Planet. It seems like neither of these two platforms are going to make much progress because they have to constantly work on securing their player base. After all, Brick Planet seems to be taking a lot of the same strategies as Buildaverse, hosting meaningless giveaways and giving nothing burger updates. Hey guys, voiceover game webcam here. Yes, I know these voiceovers are getting quite annoying, but that is because another change has happened while editing. So in their updates channel, Heimer has announced that the early access period will be opening in a few days, which by the time this video publishes, it should already be out. After this beta testing period, we can infer that Brick Planet will release to the public. This is important because for the first time in a few years, Brick Planet will have a playable client available. Now, when I recorded this video, I was anticipating that Brick Planet would take longer to get to this point. So this did take me by surprise a little bit. Though I will say that because of Brick Planet's history, it is best to apply Murphy's Law. I still feel like there are many things that can go wrong, and there's a good chance they will go wrong. I think my opinion still holds, and I'm gonna have to see and experience this client myself in order to believe and change my opinion. I will reluctantly watch Brick Planet, and to quickly address this, I only have the supporter role in the server because I won a username reservation giveaway, which made me eligible for the role because it's something that you usually have to pay for. So don't think this is me supporting Heimer or that I have a bias for Brick Planet. Unless one of these platforms launches a competent client that I can play on, I'm not going to give either one of these platforms another minute of my attention. If they can't launch their client, I want to see both Brick Planet and Buildaverse fade into obscurity. The only reason why these platforms can keep getting away with it is because they only make progress when they have to. Something I've learned about people in general, but I notice is a huge issue in the sandbox community, is that people are willing to support someone regardless of anything bad that they have done. Hypothetically, Isaac Heimer could commit manslaughter, fraud, or some other felony, and there will still be people who will go out of their way to support him. No amount of convincing is going to change these people's minds, and that is something that I have to accept. And people are going to continue falling down this rabbit hole, knowing that even though Isaac Heimer has up time and time again, there is somewhat a false sense of hope that they are just going to desperately cling onto. I'm done wasting my time on these platforms, and for everyone who is watching and still supports Brick Planet or Buildaverse, I hope you will eventually come to this same realization and leave it behind. This is an issue that I have noticed with the sandbox community, and if this community wants to sustain itself and grow, they need to put their time and money into a platform that will actually give them what they want and need. I will only make another video on Brick Planet or Buildaverse once I think they are ready, and they are far from it.